Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rose Ed podcast. Yes, we are still alive. Yes, the episodes aren't as frequent as they were last season, but we're working on that. But the Premier League has started. We're now into the international break, the first one of many, which seems way too many because the international break they're awful. Um, but yeah, we're seeing a lot of Premier League football happen, a lot of interesting things happen. Adam, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm a bit gutted it's international break already because you start to just get it back and you get into it and then it just
Goes
stops
away
again.
again, doesn't it?
So,
It's yeah,
but no, glad
I don't
back.
like the international break, straight after the transfer window. It seems pointless for me. Just give
Mm,
us like a couple of months into the season and then do it. But
yeah,
each to
I don't
their own.
know when is the next one.
I think the next
Like,
one's October and then November, and then we don't have one till like March.
okay. So there's one more
We get
before
four a
Christmas
season,
and
but
then
you get
it's
three all in one
okay.
block. It just seems fucking pointless personally, but
Yeah,
yeah, here we
no.
are. Um,
Hmm.
but Adam, obviously the high flyers are all high flying with Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal all starting off very, very positively. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, we've seen a few teams nearer to the bottom that we wouldn't have really had there, like Crystal Palace, who we thought were going to have a really good season, have found themselves
Yeah.
in the relegation zone. Obviously,
Hmm.
again, it's only 3 games in, so we can't really
Yeah.
talk too much into that because yeah, there's still 35 games of the season still
Mm.
left to play. But Adam, is there anything that's surprised you over the first 3 game weeks?
Um, just looking at the table now, like obviously Brighton always seems to start well. It's really weird. They always seem to start well.
They just tail off,
Um,
doesn't don't they?
they just sort of when it sort of kicks in and they have a couple injuries, they seem to drop off a bit. It seems to be unfortunate for them.
Yeah,
I think West Ham have been very disappointing.
I did expect more
I
of West Ham, but I think they've played decent,
yeah.
haven't they?
Well, I know they had Villa on the first game, but they didn't. They've not just not brilliant. Brilliant. Like a lot of their new
No,
signings haven't really clicked into gear yet. Obviously, it takes them so long to gel. That's the thing, and
yeah,
sometimes the
it's
international
gonna
break can
happen.
come at a good time for some teams. I think from my perspective as a Liverpool fan, I don't think I was expecting it to have started this well. No goals conceded, beating United away 3-0. Can't really complain too much about slot ball so far.
Yeah,
Um,
Ipswich comfortably beat Brentford
yeah,
comfortably as well. I mean, Man City as well. I think they're exactly where we expected them to be after their first
yeah.
few games.
Without Rodri as well, they've looked good. Just standard Man City, really.
Yeah,
Pep literally said the other day, I think I saw somewhere that they finished their pre-season now and their season starts now, which is only a bit frightening when they're able to sit there and go three Prem games is pre-season to them, which is a bit.
I
But
mean, if you're playing Ipswich in one of your opening 3 games, understandably, it would be pre-season.
yeah,
Um,
I suppose. But Haaland's
yeah,
obviously
I mean,
looked
we're seeing
again
Newcastle up there as
standard.
well. Brentford aren't doing awful,
Mm.
which is
That's it.
surprising as well. I think
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest surprises. I thought Brentford would start horribly. Obviously, the whole Ivan Toney situation. Igor Thiago, their new striker, he's out for a while, so I didn't think
yeah,
Brentford would have to start that they did, but they have. Um,
yeah.
Tottenham have had a
And
tough start.
Visser and Burma have been really good. Sorry, they've started the season really strongly.
Yeah,
Visser and Burma, so they've looked good. And Newcastle, I don't think either of us had them to be starting the way he did, and like that's without Isak really hitting any sort of form as well.
yeah.
He's
I
ruined
mean,
my FPL team first 3 weeks.
well, no,
Um,
he done all right on the weekend, and he did score. So
but he should have scored a lot. Arsenal, I think people expected a little bit more from. They've not
I
like
think
I
the
know they
Brighton
drew
results
with
very hard
Brighton.
to look past. Obviously, you had the controversial red card.
What
Uh,
do you think of that?
I don't think it's a red card. Don't. I think it's a talking to at best. Like
Yeah,
the
it's like
thing is,
strictly
I
the
can see
rules. He blocked a free
if you're
kick,
going off
didn't
the
he?
rule book, it's a red card. Yeah, like it's a
Yeah.
second yellow, it's a red card. But let's
Mm.
be like
The other fella just
wins the
kicks it.
game. Like a bit of common sense comes into play.
That's
Like,
the issue. It doesn't though, unfortunately, when it comes to the refs, like
but
because
it
there's been
has to
it's
be
that
a
sort of
sense of
stuff.
like a sense of like, okay, he's kicked the ball away. It is what it is. We'll have a talk. Like
Yeah,
he's not lumped it 50 yards away. He's just
he barely kicked it away, did he? Really? Like I only
yeah.
saw it on the
Obviously, he meant
highlights.
to, and
But
I think the whole situation
yeah,
could have been dealt so much better with talking to.
mm.
Yeah. But we'll see how
Because
that
he'll miss the North London derby now, won't he, Declan Rice? Which
exactly.
is massive. So That could be more drop points for Arsenal. I think some people being a bit reactionary, being like, "Oh, they're out of the title race." Jesus, you've got no chance. It's not.
Yeah, I
If
think
this was maybe Christmas and they did this, then yeah, I could say that. But they've still got to play City twice.
even
They win
then,
both them games, they go ahead by 5 points, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah, exactly.
But I do think at home though, they do want to be winning them games in the long term. Like it's not a good look personally.
It's
Like if
not
they're away at Brighton, I understand, but home to Brighton,
have
they
to be
want to
doing
be
that.
winning the win in the leagues. I think
Absolutely.
they need to be winning all pretty much all their home games.
Mm.
They can't really afford to drop points at home, other than to maybe City, maybe Liverpool, and that's about it. The rest of
Yeah,
them
because
they should be
if we
beating.
look at the other
Really.
sort of three that make up the big six in Tottenham, Chelsea, and United, they occupy, three of the five spots from 10th to 14th.
Yeah, that's mental. That.
They're Tottenham are top of the mid-table charge at the
Yeah,
minute. Do you know what? I think Ange was going to take a while to settle in. I think when we saw them beat, they drew to Leicester obviously first game. There was glimmers, and then the second game
could
absolutely,
have easily lost that. Yeah,
yeah,
battered Everton,
absolutely
didn't they?
crashed. Everton looked really good, and then let it down with a poor performance at St James's Park.
But that's new. Like you can have them games at Newcastle. I think.
They
Like
happen, but still, though,
yeah,
I'm not convinced by Spurs at all at the minute, and
listen. I think
Chelsea as well.
Solanke needs. Obviously, he's injured at the moment. I know he had a lot of decent chances against Leicester, but if he kicks into gear, I do think he'll be really good and he'll definitely help them. And I
Absolutely,
think that's the main thing.
that
But
is,
Chelsea, Chelsea obviously they didn't look brilliant against City, but City can do that. But then they looked unreal the following week against Wolves.
and it looked awful again against Crystal Palace.
They're just so up and down. It's their defense that worries me. I think they'll never struggle to score goals. Really, they'll
No,
always score pretty
they've
much.
got a really good attack.
Yeah, and it's just their defense that worries me. Reece James can't stay fit. The centre backs are quite poor. Cucurella's so hit or miss. But I think they took a bit like getting rid of Sterling. I think was a bit of a weight off their shoulders. Be interesting to see what Sancho does. We'll touch on that in another video. But I think Chelsea, it's like a draw, a loss, and a win. You're sort of like City game was a bit of a write off already. I don't think anyone expected that.
Well, the draw against
But
Palace, I think, again, we're talking about Arsenal
yeah,
winning home games like that against Brighton.
yeah,
Chelsea also have to win home games like that if they want to stand a chance at top four, because arguably
oh,
that's
yeah.
the goal for teams like Spurs, Chelsea,
With the
and
money they've spent as
realistically,
well,
not
you
even not
can't.
even top
Yeah,
four. These teams are big enough to aim for the title.
yeah, yeah.
That's the main goal at the end of the day. And United have been
Yeah.
absolutely stinking.
It's almost laughable with the one against Brighton, that disallowed goal from Xerxes, which was quite fun. I know, obviously, I said it'd be flop of the season, and he scored in this first game, and I can imagine everyone was on me. But since then, he's not looked good, and he was shocking against Liverpool. He should have had 2 goals. I don't care what anyone says. He should have definitely scored the header. Um, and I just don't see him being the guy. I really don't. I think the guy they wanted is now off in Saudi, playing for
Right.
Al Hilal or Al
Yeah.
Hali, whatever his name is. They are, but United, it's just I think it's such. I felt you could talk about United every week. You generally could, but it's I can only talk about from Liverpool's perspective. A manager's been there 3 months, and you can see how Slot plays. There's been goals where like it's been the same passage of play, and you look at Ten Hag's United team and you go, "What's going on?" You're still confused, and you shouldn't. This is his third season he's going into.
Yeah, we
Like
still
that's
don't
not.
know his sort of best 11. I feel like
And
it's
he's bought the
very
players
hard
he's
to think.
wanted. He's bought the keeper. He's bought the centre backs. He's bought the midfielders he's wanted. He's bought the forwards he's wanted. And you're still going, who should play here? Like
Mm.
Manu, I thought was all right against Liverpool. He wasn't brilliant, but he's doing the job of like 5 midfielders in one. He's being left on his own. I thought De Ligt looked all right as well. Martinez was just a bit rash, but United, it's just I don't think they'll sack Ten Hag. I think they should give him to at least Christmas because the
That's the thing.
daunting name
He's
of
had a
Gareth
very, very
Southgate
big.
is
He's had
there.
a very big window. He signed a lot of key players in
A couple of them injured as
Mazraoui,
well.
Xerxes.
Obviously,
Um,
Yoro got injured, but Mazraoui's looked good. I've been impressed with him first couple of weeks, in fairness.
yeah,
But I think with them, it's just who do they get? Gareth Southgate or Van Nistelrooy? I don't think either of them are going to be massively improvements, really. But same old from United, really. I think they come in obviously with that lot of optimism, and it sort of just fades away, sort of
yeah,
laughably. Obviously, being at home, biggest rival, like you think form goes out the window a little bit. Could have been more if we I think if we took some chances. Like Sobosai literally took the piss with one of the shots, if you wanted to score. But
Yeah,
um, we're not surprised with United. It doesn't really shock us that they're there in a nice way. But
absolutely. I mean,
Palace, as you said, seeing them there, 1 point.
that's what I was going to say. If we move to the bottom of the table, obviously there are teams down there which I think we expect to be down there. Leicester,
Everton, Southampton.
Wolves, Southampton.
Yeah,
Obviously, the only one that is really
mm,
surprising is Palace. But obviously, I think Palace are still improving. They've had a big
yeah,
shift over with Elise leaving, but they played Norwich in the Carabao Cup. I was there for 60 minutes, and then they scored the third, and I went home because getting back from Selhurst Park is a mission. If we're 3-0 down, I'm best believe I'm taking my chances that we're not going to make it 3-0 and
yeah,
myself home. But again, they looked excellent against Norwich. Granted championship opposition, and we played a very weak side compared to their full strength side, but still, you can only beat teams
mm.
in front of you. And Palace don't look awful; they look quite good. I reckon they'll still be
Yeah,
okay this season.
they'll always be fine. Like Mateta will kick into gear, Eze will kick into gear, and Ketty I think will do all right for them.
This is the thing.
It's just
They've made the right
defensively.
signings. They Hamada looks good as well. I really liked him.
Mm,
They will do okay. I think them being there at this point in the season isn't because they're awful. It's
no,
just a bit of a period that's going to happen to a lot of teams in that sort of area. Obviously, we're seeing it with West Ham as well. Just a gelling period,
yeah,
getting new players in.
mm.
Everton being so far down the table and looking horrendous, may I add as well. Like,
-8 goal difference already.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not
how can you
good.
be 2-0 up against Bournemouth? What was it that
86th minute or something, wasn't
sixth
it?
minute
Yeah,
and lose 3-2 against
mm.
Bournemouth? All team. I can only,
Without Solanke.
I
Yeah,
think I think that
that's
says it all.
at home. It does say it
They're
all.
gonna,
To be honest with
yeah. I
them.
mean, we say this about Everton every season. It's theirs.
Mm,
They got to be their season. Surely got to be there. But have they really strengthened? They've lost probably one of their best midfielders in Onana
mm.
to Villa, and I don't think they've really replaced him at
They
all.
signed that Njai, wasn't it? He obviously looked good in a cup game. He scored a couple goals.
Iliman and Jardi, the
Yeah,
guy who's at Sheffield United, went
yeah,
to Marseille, stunk at Marseille, and has gone to Everton.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's
Um,
their saviour.
but,
Um,
but it is worrying for fans. I think looking at it, like they just concede so many goals.
and
They just leak
we
goals.
look at all the teams that have, you can look at Southampton. Have they improved? Yes, they have. They've made signings. Wolves, have they made signings? Yes, but also have lost players. So
Mm,
Wolves, I'm expecting to be down there. Southampton as well, despite the fact they've strengthened. Ipswich, they've strengthened. Again, expect
mm,
them to be down there. Palace, they've strengthened. Also lost Elise, but have strengthened overall. Leicester lost,
yeah.
but have strengthened in areas. Everton, are the only one that I'm looking at the bottom sort of six teams here that I'm looking at. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to be the bottom six by the end of the
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
I
no,
fully expect
100%.
Brentford, Bournemouth, Forest, Fulham,
Yeah,
middle of
that's
the
it.
table just
Forest. Yeah.
to sort of simmer down the table. But I'll tell you what, out of all the teams in the Premier League, Everton are the only ones that I look at now. I think like,
I don't see a way out,
yeah,
really.
I really don't. I
Um,
think January is going to be massive for them. I mean, if they're
I
not,
don't see them getting much better. Like I just look at them and think there's no one that screams like. For example, you look at maybe a
when do they
Forest.
move
Okay,
into
that
their new stadium? By the way, Everton, do we know?
next season they're meant to be there. I
So
think
next season, that new stadium is going to
Championship
be
football. Yeah,
Championship Stadium.
but like you look at
A
like a
good away day though.
Forest, and they've got players that can win in games. Like you look at Gibbs White, Elanga, Hudson-Odoi. They've got quality there. You
Right,
look at
if we go
Wolves. They
through
got
each
Mateus
team,
Cunha.
if we go through
But
each team, we name a match winner.
Everton,
Right now, we're going
yeah,
to go through. So Man City, you got Haaland. Liverpool, you got Salah. Brighton, you've got Matoma. We can say Matoma.
João Pedro,
João Pedro is a match winner, absolutely.
yeah,
Arsenal,
Saka,
Odegaard,
yeah,
Saka, Havertz.
mm,
Newcastle, Isak, Bruno
yeah.
Guimaraes. Brentford, I'm struggling with Brentford.
Wissa or
I
Wissa
think
or Wemby, to be fair.
Wissa or Mbeumo definitely up
Yeah,
there.
both of them two will
Villa,
be
you got
fine.
Watkins, Bailey, you got a whole handful there. Bournemouth,
Who's that? That Van Nilsson's meant to be quite good at, but Semenyo started the season really well from Bristol.
I Bournemouth. I'm struggling to name a key player that can
Oh
stand there.
yeah, like I
That's
don't see
what
Semenyo
I think
kicking.
that's one to
Yeah,
keep an eye out for. Forest,
mm,
like say Morgan Gibbs White,
yeah, they
Tottenham
got quality
Son,
there.
Chelsea Palmer, Fulham Smith Rowe. Um,
Yeah,
I think that's one. West Ham Paqueta, Kudus,
Bowen, yeah,
Owen,
Kudus,
yeah.
yeah,
United, they definitely have a few. You know what I mean? Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno,
Definitely.
yeah.
Leicester.
Vardy. That's what he does.
I
Premier
mean,
League 100 club. Respect the man.
don't get
He'll
me wrong,
do it.
respect to the man, but when he's pushing 40,
Yeah,
yeah,
like him and
I
like
think that's
Mavadidi look decent, and is it
Mavadidi is decent,
Fatawa?
but
Fatawa?
Fatawu, yeah, Abdul
Yeah,
Fatawu,
he looks decent, and Buonanotte looks
okay as
alright. But
well.
I know
Yeah,
what you mean. Yeah, it's sort of that
again,
champ.
it's similar to Bournemouth. I'm not quite seeing match winners.
Yeah, but they've got more quality still than Everton, I'd say. Yeah, but
Yeah,
then you go to Palace, and you got
Palace as a Mateta,
Mateta.
Ipswich. No,
No, you don't really. Like, Hutchinson's a good player, but they're
well,
not proving at the level to sort of go like, oh,
I mean,
he's
you
going
could
to be that
argue
guy.
Calvin Phillips, but I'm not
They just
arguing.
brought in. Did they? Oh no, haven't signed him. No, sorry.
We're
Yeah,
going to say
Wolves. I was going to say Brozier, but obviously he didn't, did he? He went Everton.
Wolves, Matis Cunha, Hwang Hee-chan.
Yeah, they got a couple half decent players in that team.
Yeah. Southampton, I mean, Adam Armstrong maybe. Flynn
Yeah, but
Downs,
not at this level.
not
Nah,
at this level. So
but,
Southampton will be
but
down
they're
there.
not expected it because they've just come up, so they're not expected to have proper Premier League match winners.
No,
Everton should because they've been in the league
yeah,
for
no, absolutely. But
for a
the
while.
sides that I'm expecting to be down there with Everton after this debate is going to be Bournemouth, Ipswich, Southampton, and Everton. That's
Yeah,
from
Leicester.
that debate in terms of like having key players that can turn a game on its head, because these bottom sides are going to need those key players come near the end of the season, and we're
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
that. Obviously, Southampton haven't had that yet. 10 men Newcastle went to St Mary's, and still won 1-0. And that should be so difficult for Newcastle to even get a point out of that game. And
That's the
Southampton,
thing. Everton at home to Bournemouth, 2-0 up,
you
10,
get
5,
that's
6
another win.
minutes to go.
And you're
Got to be
looking for a
winning them
leader
games.
there. You got the likes of Jared
Yeah,
White, you've got James Tarkowski, you've got two really good
Pickford.
defensive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Branthwaite's been out, so I do think when he comes back, he'll be
Oh yeah,
a
yeah, it's been
boost.
out.
But I don't
But
know how long he's out for.
you're looking at that
There's
Everton.
still there should be enough. Like experience is nothing that Everton lack. You look at Coleman's like 40, Ashley Young's like 50. Like experience is something Everton do not lack out of any of them clubs at the bottom.
Yeah, but maybe the retirement home is better than Goodison.
Exactly, yeah. So, but
Probably one
it's
of
been
those. But no,
not
look,
been a
I
brilliant
think
start.
I do think they're going to be down there. I mean, we look at that Premier League table. We can name a match winner for 75% of their size. Someone who can turn a game on its head, and that 25% that's not are more than likely to find themselves nearing the bottom come the business end of the season.
Do you think there's any players that for you have sort of stood out, like you've been really impressed with that maybe you've not been, maybe didn't expect, like sort of obviously Haaland's 7 goals already. What do you expect? The same.
I was going to say McAllister, but again, McAllister impressed me last season. So
Yeah.
any surprises there on his ability.
Mm.
I want to kind of think outside the box a little bit. I think João Pedro for me, but I always knew he had that ability.
Yeah, he showed quality at Watford and when he was at Brighton last season before his injury.
I think
He's always
he's really kicked the ground running. I think this is going to be sort of his season rather than being like a penalty taker. I'll look at the table, see if any players come to.
I think John Duran's been good for Villa, considering he gets limited
really
minutes.
Yeah, obviously the whole speculation in the summer potentially going to West Ham. He's
scoring some good goals.
Yeah, got a redemption. I mean, I don't know if you've
because Watkins has been slow. And when Duran comes in, he's looked really good. I
don't know if you've seen there's like a 2-minute goal compilation of John Duran's goals at Villa.
Yeah,
they're all just screamers.
Like, they're all off the bench as well. He never starts.
He just scores bangers. He just scores bangers. I'm a big fan of John Duran. I'm really glad you brought that one up.
I think Diaz as well, from a Liverpool fan's perspective. Like Salah's
again, these are players that we knew had the ability.
But Diaz has got the goals that I think not many people expected.
I think there's anyone but, I mean, apart from John Duran.
And Bremer's obviously got 3 goals. Madueke got his hat trick.
Madueke's had one good game.
Yeah, that's what it is.
People
like Palmer's, like Saka, these are all consistent players that have been doing it for seasons. There's been no one really that.
And Bremer's a good shout, but we saw what he could do last season. I think.
Yeah.
As well. John Duran is really the only one that sort of
caught everyone a bit by surprise a little bit.
I'm struggling here, Adam. I'll be honest. I don't think there is, because I mean, we look at that bottom half of the table, it's all underperforming sides. No one else is. I mean, anyone in that Brighton, in that Bournemouth squad that's impressing me.
Semenyo's had a decent start to the season, but
Menus, Van Linson, you said is good.
yeah, he came on in the other game.
I mean, just trying to think, like,
No, I think a lot of it to be the first couple games. Obviously, got post Euros, post Olympics.
I mean, there is one player from Bournemouth that I'm a big fan of, Dango Utara, but again, is that a stretch? Is that a stretch to say he's been unbelievable?
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
lot of it's sort of been process, like was it work as normal, process as normal, whatever the phrase is. Obviously, Anana's got a couple goals for Villa. I didn't think he'd be as good as maybe he
that's
has been.
to be fair, that's another
A
good shout.
couple
But then again, I
goals.
think I did say he was going to be my signing of the season.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd get goals, and he's got two already, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think
But like the same old sort of
what we
your
going with
Havertz has started
John
well.
Duran and
I
who's
think John Duran would be the most, and probably
who's the other
João
one?
Pedro would be maybe the two that you'd
João
sort of look at.
Pedro, Brian Embuemo.
Like Diaz, if you want to put in there, because he's not been as clinical as normal.
There's been some key players so
Three
far.
goals, assists.
There's been some
Like
good
that's the
shouts.
thing.
Obviously,
Do you think there's any
Haaland.
like who do you think's been your biggest underperformer that maybe had like a pedestal to really step up this season? He's not quite done it yet. I think for me it'd be Rashford. I thought this would be his year because he always has a year off and then he's good. And I thought he's had his year off and I thought he'd kick into gear again this year.
It's been three
Um,
games. So hard to say. Like who's like
but so far he's not had a
no,
shot. There was a stat when watching he's not had a shot this season in 3 games. Not had a
oh,
shot and he's a winger.
I mean,
That's
if you said
ridiculous.
Rashford, I'll say someone else.
Just shoot from 40 yards to say you've had a shot or something. Come on, mate. 3 games is nuts to not have a shot.
Who has? Do
Um,
you know what? James Madison.
yeah,
And
suppose yeah.
because
Spurs have obviously been
the
a bit
thing is with
slow.
me and Madison, like he's
Love
always
hate
got a really
relationship.
good first half of the season.
Oh, he always is. Yeah,
Always.
he's
And
such a purple patch player.
he
I
will
think.
he'll kick the ground running, and I was fully expecting Spurs to kick the ground
Mm,
running and Madison to do exactly the same
yeah,
because
they've
that's
not looked
what
the
that's
same this season. Spurs. It's
no.
weird. I
So
think because they
I think
started, they've everyone
Madison
back
for
from
me,
injury as well. Yeah,
James
no, I
Madison.
can. Yeah, I think there's a lot more to come from that Spurs team. I don't think they've really offered much. I think they'll still be there or thereabouts. But considering they had everyone back from injury, which was their big issue that cost them last season, they lost Madison. They lost was it Van der Ven? They lost like Romero and all these guys. And now you look, they've got them all back, and it just looks like something's missing a little bit. But yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, we'll end the video there. Well, cheers guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.